Alright, Shalom. I want us to the elders, GMS, on this be brothers to be pushing this truth in the four corners of the world, right, in sincerity and in humility. Alright, like to start off by saying, oh, praise unto Yahweh by Shem Shai. And like I said, double honors to the elders. Alright, just a nice, straightforward lesson, hopefully. Not lesson in the sense, just going in the spirit, going in the flow of the spirit. Alright, we can get off right, we can get off at Proverbs 29th chapter and the second verse. And we'll jump around a little bit. Alright, so this is Proverbs 29:2, and it says, when the righteous are in authority, right, when the people of the Most High, the elect of the Most High, when we get into our power, right, it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. So, after these people served their hardcore slavery, after their 1,000 years of hardcore slavery, building up our kingdom, right, pursuant to Daniel, the 2nd chapter and the 44th verse, let's just jump to it real quick. Right, this is Daniel, the 2nd chapter, and the 44th verse. Daniel 2 and 44, and it says, and after the days of these kings, what kings is he talking about? The Rothschilds, the DuPonts, and so on and so forth, all of those waste men, if you like it. Right, after the days of these kings, shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. So when we get into our own kingdom, that kingdom's never going to be destroyed, man. Right, and when we talking about kingdom, we're talking about our own governing body, our own society, right? Pursuant to what the apostle basically said to the Lord when he said, when we gonna know the times of when you're gonna come back and set us up, when we gonna get back into power, and that's what we're focused on. That's what the men of the Lord are focused on, getting back into power, getting back into leadership, because that's what it comes down to. That's what all things come down to, power, right? It says. And after the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom. The Most High is going to set up a kingdom, a governing body, a society, whatever you want to call it, right? And it says, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, right? And all of these kingdoms shall stand, which shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms. So we're going to break in pieces and consume all the previous kingdoms. Right, meaning to say the society that we're in right now, right? We're gonna break it in pieces and consume it, like the scripture says. It says, and all these kingdoms and it shall come to part, and it shall stand forever. So when we get into our own estate, we're gonna stand forever, man. You ain't gonna be able to take Jake out in that day. Why? Because the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai is gonna be upon us, right? Jake, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, all of the 12 tribes that constitute all of the people that constitute the 12 tribes of Israel, which was scattered abroad into the utmost parts of the earth, that the scripture says. Right? We go back into Proverbs 29 chapter, and the 2nd verse says that when the righteous are in authority, when the people of the Most High, right, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right, so-called scum of this earth, right, the bottom, the last high, the first fire of this kingdom, when that group of people, right, the Bible and the proverb of this kingdom gets into their own power, right. When I say their own power, pursuant to Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter and the 6th verse, right? It says, for thou art a holy people unto the Most High. So you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? And pretty much anyone who's zeal for the Most High, right? Pursuant to Romans, the 10th chapter, if I remember it correctly. Pursuant to Romans, the 10th chapter, right? Anyone with a zeal for the Most High is most likely to be a Jake, man. Right? Because the Most High puts that conscience within Israel, so they can fear the Most High, right? And they will always have that attachment to the truth, right? It says, for thou art a holy people unto the Most High, right? The Lord's power has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. The Most High has set us up to be a special people unto himself, right? Like it says, I forgot the exact scripture where it says the Most High doesn't take the eyes of these different nations. He's taking them as a little thing, man. He takes them as a drop of water in a bucket. He doesn't care for the other nations except for really he doesn't really care except for the ruling class of the elect, right? The elect being the 144,000 and the 1/3. That's the group of people that the Most High is going to principally save, and the rest of the Israel is going to be saved through that group of people by a process called we know as reincarnation, right? It says, "For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord hath chosen thee to be a special people to himself, right? Unto himself above all people upon the face of the earth," right? So when I'm talking about getting back into our own estate, right, I'm talking about getting back into that because we're not a special people right now. We're catching special hell, right? We're not a special people right now, right? But when the Most High returns, right, and sets us back up into our older states, that the scripture says that we can get back into our own society, our own kingdom. So in other words, like it says in Daniel the 2nd chapter and the 44th verse, right? That's when we're gonna be above all the other people upon the face of the earth, pursuant to really it's a prophecy, right? Let's jump back to what was I holding? Let's see what precept I was holding there. Right, yeah, that was Proverbs 29th chapter. It's back in Proverbs the 29th chapter and the 2nd verse. It says, "When the righteous are in authority, when the people of the Most High get back into authority, right? The people rejoice, right? Principally because when things are set back in order, you ain't gonna see all the destruction of the earth. Like it says, when this man is gonna be destroyed, when Esau is destroyed off the face of the earth, trees in Lebanon was gonna rejoice, right? Because there's so much, deforestation and the destruction of the earth is so intense right now because the wicked are in rulership. Right? It says, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And that's how we know the wicked are in rulership right now, because the people are mourning throughout the four corners of the earth, complaining about the food, the water, right? And really, they go really, because we're getting near in the end of the time, they're also complaining about these natural disasters and artificial disasters, of which, the Most High put it in Esau to put it, the Most High gave the power to Esau to cause some of those so-called natural disasters. All right, so the people are mourning right now because the wicked are in rulership. But what do we know about the scriptures? Right, we know from the scriptures that the wicked was going to bear rule for a period of time, and after that period of time be eclipsed, right, the righteous was going to bear rule, right? And let's jump to 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter and the 6th verse, just to prove that. All right, so this is 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter and the 9th verse, starting from the 7th. It says, "Then answered I and said, What shall be the partiness under of the times? Or when shall the end of the last? When shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth?" So when is going to be the end of Esau's kingdom? He's basically saying where he's going to be. When are we going to get it back into power? All right. He's basically like all the prophets that have been that came after him and was before him. He wanted to know when the Most High was going to set Israel back up, the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans back up. The people that you know as the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans back up. That's what he wanted to know, right? And he says, and he said unto him, "From Abram unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him," right? Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. So Jacob, that was a spiritual thing when the mother of Jacob and Esau had two children, right? We know that Esau was born first, right? And Jacob held his heel after, right? That represents the transition of power, wherewith that's how it literally is gonna go down. Wherewith Esau's gonna be destroyed, he's gonna be taken out of his position of power, right? That being Esau being the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, and all of the peons underneath them, right? When they come out of power, that's when we're gonna get straight back into power, man. All right. It says, what do you say? It says, "And he said unto me, From Abram unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him," right? And Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, For Esau is the end of the world, so we know Esau is the end of the world, right? Esau's going to be the end of this world. He's the end of this side, right? And it says, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And what followeth? What followeth? Going back to onto Daniel the 2nd chapter on the 44th verse, where the Most High is going to set us up up into our own kingdom. But what's going to happen before that? We're going to see all kind of destruction, man. We're going to see all kind of glorious destruction happening. Why? Because there's all kind of wickedness happening in this earth, right? Where if the Most High is going to have to do all kind of destruction, so righteousness can be that much more. The righteousness can flourish that much more when it sets us back up. Let's jump to Isaiah the 24th chapter. Alright, so this is Isaiah the 24th chapter, and we can start right from the top on down. Right, it says, "Behold, the Lord maketh, right? The Lord maketh empty, right, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof." And what's he talking about when that destruction takes place, right? What destruction is it talking about? Let's jump on a few precepts, right? Let's jump on a few precepts as regarding the Lord scattering the people abroad, right? And I'm not talking about, there's going to be there's two principal scatterings when the Most High is going to scatter the people right now, right? Because of those missiles that are coming, right? Where, a man's going to desire to see another man's face because of the scarcity of the people on the earth, because there's been so much destruction happening, right? But it was also the diaspora where the Most High dispersed, the 12 tribes of Israel amongst all these different nations, right? Two different things happening, right? At two different times. The diaspora is already happening. Really, the Most High is bringing his elect back together, right? Through these videos that we've been putting up on YouTube, or the people that we see on the streets, or the teachings that we have on a weekly basis, whatever, right? That's the Most High bringing the elect back together from the four corners of the earth, where if you have Jay coming from all different kind of places, right? And in fact, let's just touch on the let's just touch on that real quick. Scripture's sitting there. Find it. Right, this is Romans 11:7. It says, "What then? Israel, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, have not obtained that which it seeketh for, but the election have obtained," right? And that's where we're going to find the elect. The elect is according to the flesh, first and foremost, right? But more so than that, it's the people that were selected from the foundations of the earth to make it through this destruction, the destruction by fire, right? And you're going to have, they was going to be scattered abroad, right? And we're going to see how we're going to speak, we're going to see this scattering in a moment, right? No pictures, please. All right, it says, "But the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. According as it is written, the Most High hath given them a spirit of slumber," right? Is that they should not hear, right, unto this day, right? And that's talking about the blinding of the elect, not the elect, the blinding of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? Where if you got 1/3, the 2/3 that's going to be blinded pursuant to Zechariah the 13th chapter and 8th verse, right? And the 1/3 is going to have that truth. They're going to have that truth within them, right? And let's jump to Amos the 9th chapter and the 9th verse. In fact, we can start from the 8th verse because it's so relevant. Right, so this is Amos, the 9th chapter and the 9th verse. Start from the 8th, so it says, "And behold, the eyes of the Lord power, the angels of the Most High, right, are upon the sinful kingdom." Like I say every week, the sinful kingdom is America. The sinful kingdom is England. The sinful kingdom is all of these different kingdoms has been set up, right, where if Israel hasn't been in power. Why? Because when Israel is in power, all the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, as we have seen it in the scripture in Proverbs the 29th chapter, the 2nd verse, right? When that group of people is in power and they're conducting themselves in accordance to the law, statutes, commandments, right? That's when that would be known as the righteous kingdom, right? And we only have ever had a long period of 40 years, a period of 40 years where righteousness was established. Those were 40 years of peace that we had underneath the different righteous kings that we had in Israel, namely King David. King David was one of them. Right, it says, behold, I have a little power upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it off the face of the earth. So even utterly, I will not destroy the house of Jacob. The Most High is not going to destroy the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. Right, for all these different nations, they're going to be destroyed. All right, it says, saving utterly, I will not destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, dispersed throughout the four corners of the earth, amongst all nations. So he's going to sift us from amongst all nations. So when we come out here and we send these videos out, right, we're sending them out to the elect of Israel, who's going to come in all different kinds of shades and colors and nationalities for the most part. But really, their line goes back to the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the 12 tribes of Israel, right, which you know as black men or black people for the most part. Right, that's the tribe of Judah, like it says in Jeremiah the 14th chapter and the 2nd verse. Right, Judah mourneth, the gates thereof language, they're black unto the ground. Right, they're people of color, man. The people of the Most High, the people of color, like it also says in Daniel the 9th chapter, not the 9th chapter, sorry, Daniel the 7th, around about the 7th chapter, I believe, right, where it gives the description of the Lord, right, and also in Revelations the 1st chapter where it gives the description of the Lord again, right. These were men of color, man. These were men of color. So the Most High is coming to save the same group of people that you put into captivity, right? Pursuant to Deuteronomy 28th chapter and the 68th verse, right? Which are going to be the same people that are going to put you into captivity, because the Most High is a righteous power, right? So when righteousness is established, he's going to rebalance the wickedness that was done, and part of that wickedness was putting the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans into captivity. So you people are going to go into captivity, right? And that's the righteousness. And like it says in the scripture, verily, right? That so shall a man know that he's a righteous power that judges the earth, right? It says, for lo I will command and sift, and for lo I will command and I'll sift the house of Israel among all nations, like corn is sifted as a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. So all Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans dispersed throughout the four corners of the earth, they're going to be sifted, man. They're going to be sifted from among all of these different nations, right? And as we're coming, basically that's what's happening now, and we're coming back together, right? Namely, speaking of the elect, I'm not talking about these different camps out here that speak on coming together, because we know that's a byword for Esau's schemes, right? We know those coming together buzzwords, the community buzzwords. Those are all buzzwords pertaining to Baal and basically all things contrary to the scriptures. The Most High is selective, and He's selected a group of elect men, and those elect men are going to speak with one word, singing one song, in other words, right? But they're going to be, the Most High is going to put them together, right? Now this is right. So this is back in Isaiah the 24th chapter. Right, from the top it says, behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, like we've seen in Amos the 9th chapter and the 8th verse. The Most High is going to make the world empty by way of those ICBMs, man. Alright, it says, behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. Alright, let's jump to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter real quick. Ezra, the 15th chapter from the top, and says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people, just like how we see the elders out there, right, speaking out, in the midst of Jerusalem, in the midst of in the midst where the majority of Jacob is going to be, right, speaking into the ears of the people. Why? Because that's what they're supposed to be doing, right? That's how we're going to find the elect. All right, it says, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of the prophecy which I will put into thy mouth. Right, and we know certain instances. The Most High said, don't predict what you're gonna say. I'm gonna put those words within you. Right, when we read these scriptures and we come out here when we hold camps, quote unquote, right, the Most High imparts that spirit upon us, where we just flow in the spirit, man. We just flow in the spirit. Whatever the Most High put it in our spirit to say, that's what we say, man. Right, provided it be in the confines of the scriptures. right? It says, and cause them to be written on the paper, for they are faithful and true. And fear not the imaginations, right, it says, fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not let not the incredulity of them that trouble thee speak against thee. Right? And what are some of those imaginations? The fact that America just bought 30,000 new guillotines, just bought 30,000 guillotines from Korea. Right? The fact that you're gonna see all kind of implementations of martial law, right, throughout the four corners of the earth in all of these different countries when they announce that they're going into World War III, right? Those are some of the vain imaginations of Esau. Why? Because he knows through that martial law, through that World War III, that's how he's gonna cut the population of the people down, right, to where he can basically manifest his so-called New World Order. Right? You right there, sir? Yeah. Yeah. So it says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Are you a God-believing man, sir?
Yeah, I believe it.
You believe in God? Who do you think the Lord's coming back to save then?
Not me.
Yeah,
No, I don't think it's coming back to save me after this show.
hey, well, that's
I've done well up to now.
Well, that's something that is put within your spirit to say.
I've been having fits and that, but the other night I got kicked off and pushed by Ada Face. They wrote down Boban, and the young lads pinched me.
You're gonna have to keep your space, though, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and the young lads pinched me bike.
Right. Okay.
Which is out of order, isn't it?
Well, hey, the Mosai is wrathful, man. The Mosai said he's gonna have mercy on who he wants to have mercy on.
Yeah.
Right, meaning to say there's gonna be a certain group of people that's gonna be destroyed. Right, namely the so-called white people who's gonna be destroyed. You know why so-called white people is gonna be destroyed? Right, because they put so-called black people, of which God Himself is a black man.
There's nothing wrong with black people.
There's nothing wrong with black people. No, that's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point.
I've got a lot of friends in Leeds.
That's not the point. That's not the point I'm making. It's not no pseudo skin color thing.
No.
Right? It's about a
everyone's
spirit.
equal in my eyes.
Well, God doesn't deal with equality.
He does.
God, you just said it yourself. You just told me about.
Yeah, other people don't do it.
Well, hey.
But they're not God.
Well, hey.
I'm
God, the most side.
I'm God then.
Right.
I agree.
But you're probably Esau just by reading what you're saying.
I agree that everyone's
Anyways,
equal.
if you don't mind, sir, if I could get back into into
I
this.
think everyone's equal, right?
Right. Okay.
Colour, race, or
Well,
religion,
300-400 years ago, that wasn't the case, was it?
No, it wasn't.
No, it
I
wasn't.
actually think
Right.
everyone's
And
equal.
if do you think do you think the Mosai is going to balance that equation now?
Well, I don't know, man.
Well, the scripture says he's got.
People
Meaning
like
to say.
there should be more people like me where it's equal.
Well, hey, that's because you're not in the know. Right? Anyways, we're going to get back into
Yeah,
this.
you'll get into that.
Yeah. Right, it says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the earth. What are some of those plagues? Right? Those nuclear missiles. Right? Where with, you're going to see peons like that, it's going to be straight up blasted, man. Right? The Most High is not going to have mercy upon you Edomites, right? Right, with all of this equality talk after the 400 years that you put upon of hell that you put upon the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, the Most High is not gonna have mercy upon. Right, so these plagues are coming to hit you. Although you think Esau's thinking he's gonna do it by way of his so-called New World Order. The Most High is gonna do away with your so-called New World Order, man. Right, the Most High is gonna destroy you perpetually. To where if we're gonna say in the kingdom, where is Esau, man? We're going to say, where is the man that caused the earth? Where is the man that did make these nations to tremble, man? Where is the man that went from border to border destroying all of these different kingdoms? That's what we're going to say in the kingdom, because the Most High is going to do away with Esau, with Edom. Right? It says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. And who are the unfaithful? Those amongst the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans that have heard this truth, right? And they hold fast to this truth. Right, they're gonna hold down the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, and they didn't hold it down. Right, those that's the unfaithful, of which the word faith comes from the word literally comes from the word feminine, meaning to say lack of, the word feminine comes from the word lack of faith, and that's why we say these these little boys, these little Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right, are faithless, man. They're feminine, right? It says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, right? Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring, and that's pursuant to 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter and the 9th verse, right? It says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the earth, sword, famine, death, and destruction. That's what the Lord's coming back with, man. The sword, famine, death, and destruction. He's not coming back with peace, man. He ain't coming back with peace, man. And the real man knows that. Right, all the real men that are out here know that the Most High is not coming back in a peaceful state, man. Because we see all kind of abominations happening in this kingdom. Right, you don't have to know. You really don't have to know this truth to know that the Lord's gonna come back in His wrath, man. Like it says in let's just jump on it real quick. Right, this is Isaiah the 63rd chapter. Right from the door. This is how the Lord's coming back. Right. Now it's Isaiah 63:1. It says, "Who is this that cometh from Edom?" Right? Who is the man that's going to be coming from Edom? When this is Isaiah, listen, he say, "Who is this that's coming from Edom?" Man? Right? And it says, "With dyed garments from birthright, that is glorious in his apparel." So this man's, he's looking at this man. This man's, garments were nice, man. They were blinging, right? Kind of like Nate's garments right now, right? And it says, "Traveling in the greatness of his strength." Right, and this is the response that the Lord gave him. It says, I that speak in righteousness, because we know the Lord speaks in righteousness, right? Mighty to save, and his name literally means salvation, right? It says, "Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel?" And that's Isaiah basically asking them, why is your garments red? Right? And it says, and thy garments like him that treadeth the winepress. So he looked like he'd been stumping in grapes, right? And it says, "I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people that was done with me, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people that was none with me, for I'll tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I'll stain my raiment, all my raiment." That's how the Lord's coming. So the Most High is coming. The Lord's coming back to stamp all the people that was not with him, all the people that fought against Jerusalem, the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's how the Lord's coming back, man. Right? And it says, "For the day," and it says, "and I will stain all of my raiment." So he's going to stain all of his raiment as though he's been, treading the winepress. Right, and it says, for the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemer is come. So the day of the vengeance of the Lord is come, man. The day of his redeeming, the day he's going to redeem the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans is come, man. Right, and that's why it says, that's why it says in the scriptures, it's a high time for you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans to wake up out of fucking sleep, man. Right, it says, "For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemer is come. And I looked, and there was none with me." Right, I said, "I looked, and there was none to help me, and I wondered, and there was none to uphold me. Therefore my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury upheld me. And I'll tread down the people in my anger." So that's how the Lord's coming back, man. He said he's going to trample down the people in his anger. That's how he's going to come back. All right? It says, "And I'll bring down, and I'll make them drunk." The Lord's going to make them drunk in his fury. Right? It says, "And I'll make them drunk in my fury, and I'll bring down their strength to the earth." Right? So all of this, all of this equality nonsense that you peons speak about, man, the Most High is not dealing with that. We read it in Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter and the 6th verse, that Israel, the Negroes, Hispanics, the Native Americans, and all of Israel dispersed throughout the whole corners of the earth are special people unto the Most High. Right? Above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Right? So you can talk all this equality nonsense, man. That's not gonna happen when the Lord comes back. He says, "Of the people that was none with me, right, I'll tread them down in my fury," he said. He's gonna make them drunk in his fury. Alright? Let's jump back to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. And that's not only talking about Europeans predominantly, that's talking about the so-called elites of this people. Right, the Rothschild and so on and so forth. That's what the scripture says. And he's going to bring down their nobles to be bound in chains, right? And their nobles are going to be bound in chains. And they're going to come and worship us, man. They're going to bow down to us, man. Right? Excuse me. Right? It says, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the earth," right? "And their hateful works are fulfilled." So Esau's hateful works so much destruction to this earth, right? Whether it be of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, or of the different nations, man. Right? That's why it's known in Malachi as the border of wickedness. Right? It says, therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more. It's touching their wickedness. So the Most High ain't gonna hold back no more. He's basically saying, look, man, I ain't holding back no more. Right? You made me angry. That's what the Lord's saying here. Right? It says, now hold my tongue no more. It's touching their wickedness, which they profanely committed. Who was more profane as Esau, man. Right? Who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Right? It says, which they profanely commit, and neither will I suffer them in those things which they wickedly exercise. Right? Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, right? And the souls of the just complain continually. Who are the souls of the just? It's what the righteous men that were out here pushing this truth, right? And they're in the spirit world right now complaining about why this kingdom is still up, why this kingdom hasn't been destroyed yet. Right? Why hasn't Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, which constitute the 12 tribes of Israel, been set back up in power? Yeah, because that's what the scripture says to do. The scripture says you're supposed to be hastening the day, right? Complaining continually that the Most High can destroy this kingdom, this society, right? It says, the righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them. So the Lord said He's going to surely avenge them, which is what it says in Isaiah the 63rd chapter and the first verse, where it's speaking about the Lord coming into Edom, right? All right, and doing all kind of beautiful things in Edom, right? It says, and therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them, right? Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter, and I will not suffer them no more to dwell in Egypt. What's Egypt? Egypt is just a word synonymous with bondage, with slavery, right? It's about America. That's where the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans were sold into captivity, right? It says, but I will bring them with a mighty and stretched forth arm, right, and smite Egypt with plagues, as before, and I will destroy it, and I will destroy all the land thereof. And like it says as before, it's going to destroy that land of bondage, the land with the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? He's going to destroy it as before, right? And he's going to bring his people out with his mighty stretched forth hand. And how's he going to do that? Let's jump to Wisdom of Solomon in the 5th chapter and the first verse. One of the most, one of my favorite scriptures right now. Alright, Wisdom of Solomon 5. Alright, this is Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. Right? This is the period of time when the righteous man is standing up, and we're standing in the faces of such as afflicted us, man. These are the people that are, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and all kind of giving all kind of hell to the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. Right? Puts in all kind of bondage. Right? It says, and standing great boldness before such as afflicted him, and made no account of his labors, because what our labors building up this kingdom that hasn't been accounted for. Right? And it says, when they see it, they shall be troubled. They shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. Right? So these people are going to be amazed at the strangeness of salvation, Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, because we literally going to be zapped up out of here by those UFOs, whilst the Most High is doing this destruction. Right, because at the same hour as the Most High is bringing that destruction from the Russians, right, from China and all of the countries that have allies and allegiance with the Russians, right? It's going to be the same time that the Most High is going to be, like it says in the scriptures, it's going to be destroyed in 1 hour. Where we going to go in 1 hour unless the Most High save us? That's why Ezra himself said, "War is me" in that day. Right, but we know we know Ezra was a man of the Lord, so he's gonna have a seat on that chariot, right? So he's gonna be zapped up out of here when that time comes. All right, it says, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation so far beyond what they look for. And they repenting and groanish for anguish of spirit, because those ICBMs is gonna be coming, man. Right? And for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we sometimes had in derision. Right? These are the Negroes and Spaniards, they're Americans that we had in derision, that we had in captivity. Right? And a proverb, right? You know, you Negroes, Hispanics, Spics, and so on and so forth, and all the proverbs that they've, you know, that they've made against the, you know, the people of the Most High, right? Right? We fools accounted his life for madness and his end without honor. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High and his lot amongst the states? And let's jump back onto 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter and the 6th verse, and it says, "But I will bring plagues, but I will bring them with a mighty and stretched forth arm and smite Egypt with plagues." Right? And we know through Zechariah, the 14th chapter and the 12th verse, some of those plagues is going to be that plague where you stand up on your feet, right? And your flesh is going to consume away, right? Which is self-explanatory, man. That's an ICBM, man. That's nuclear fire, man. A fire not blown, like it says in Job 20th chapter. Right? That's how this kingdom's going to go out. That's how you're going to suffer for all the wickedness that you've done against the righteous people, the people of the Most High. Right? It says, but Egypt shall mourn, and the foundations of it shall be smitten with plagues, and the punishment with plagues, and the punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and the hail, right, and the fearful constellation. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hand. For they shall be sedition among the people, and invading one another. They shall not regard kings nor princes, and the cause of their actions shall stand in their power." So man's gonna do what he wants to do in that day, because it says, like it says here, the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You know, it's gonna be in your own power to do what you want, right? And a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. So I'm talking about when martial law is implemented, and you ain't gonna be able to go into these different towns like you usually do. You go traveling like you usually do. Alright, it says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to, for because of their pride shall their cities be trampled, right? And their houses shall be destroyed, and a man shall be afraid," right? And it says, "A man shall not have pity upon his neighbor, but he shall destroy his house with the sword and spoil his good for lack of bread." So there ain't gonna be no food in that day, right? So you're gonna spoil your next door neighbor's house and so on and so forth, because you ain't got nothing to eat, right? And it says, and spoil their goods for lack of bread and for great tribulation, right? And let's jump back onto Isaiah the 24th chapter. This is back in Isaiah the 24th chapter. It says, "Behold, the Lord maketh empty, right, and maketh waste, and turneth upside down, all right, and scattereth the board thereof." It says, "And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant and his master, and with the maid and her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender and the borrower." Right, and with the taker of usury, so with the to the giver of usury of it. Right, the land shall be utterly empty. The land shall utterly spoiled, for the Lord hath spoken this word. Right, the earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away, and the haughty people of the land do languish. Right, so the earth is defiled underneath the inhabitants thereof, right, because they have transgressed the law and changed the ordinance and broken the everlasting covenant. Right, basically talking about the destruction. Man, this scripture is pretty much self-explanatory. Right, it says, "Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein. And therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth shall be burnt up, and few men left." And let's just touch on Zechariah the 14th chapter real quick on that. See how the curse is going to devour the earth. Right, this is Zechariah 14 and 12, and it says, "This shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that fought against Jerusalem," right? All the people that rose against the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. This is going to be the curse that's going to touch them, right? And it says, "And this shall be the plague wherewith the Most High will smite all the people that fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away whilst they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouths." So that's the curse that's going to devour people, man, right? And that's the curse that it's talking about there in Isaiah in the 24th chapter, right? Where it says here, right? "Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate, right? Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burnt up, and few men left." That's talking about the ICBM, the work of an ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile, man, right? Where the Most High set it up that the earth is going to be destroyed because of the wickedness that be done in the midst thereof, man. Alright, let's jump to 2 Peter's 3rd chapter real quick. In fact, let's jump to Revelations, the 18th chapter. Alright, and round about the 8th verse. So this is Revelations 18 and 8. It says, "Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, right? Death, mourning, and famine, and she shall utterly be burnt with fire. For strong is the Most High that judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication with her live deliciously," who's the her is talking about America, right? "Shall bewail her and lament for her, and they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off, right? For the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, the mighty city," so Babylon meaning land of confusion, "that mighty city," right? "For in 1 hour is judgment come." So that's how quickly Esau's judgment is going to come, man. Right, it's going to come right in 1 hour, right? Where with those ICBMs, he's going to come